Parshat Pekudei, Exodus 38:21, 40, 38. First portion. Exodus chapter 38. 21. These are the numbers of the Mishkan of the testimony, which were counted at Moses' command. This was the work of the Levites under the direction of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the Cohen. 22. Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, had made all that the Lord had commanded Moses. 23. With him was Oholiab, son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, a craftsman and master weaver, and an embroiderer in blue, purple, and crimson wool and in linen. 24. All the gold that had been used for the work in all the work of the holy, the gold of the waving, was 29 talents, 730 shekels, according to the holy shekel. 25. The silver of the community numbers was 100 talents and 1,775 shekels, according to the holy shekel. 26. 1 beka per head, that is, half a shekel according to the holy shekel for each one who goes through the counting, from 20 years old and upward, for 603,550 people. 27. 100 talents of the silver were used for casting the sockets of the holy and the sockets of the dividing curtain, 100 sockets out of 100 talents, 1 talent for each socket. 28. And out of the 1,775 shekels, he made hooks for the pillars, and he covered their tops and banded them. 29. The copper of the waving was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. 30. From that he made the sockets of the entrance to the tent of meeting, the copper altar, the copper grating upon it, and all the implements of the altar. 31. And the sockets of the courtyard all around, and the sockets of the gate to the courtyard, all the pegs of the Mishkan and all the pegs of the courtyard all around. Exodus chapter 39. 1. And out of the blue, purple, and crimson wool they made the meshwork garments to serve in the holy, and they made Aaron's holy garments, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Second portion. Exodus chapter 39. 2. And he made the ephod of gold, blue, purple, and crimson wool, and twisted fine linen. 3. They hammered out the sheets of gold and cut threads from them, to work the gold, into the blue wool, into the purple wool, into the crimson wool, and into the fine linen, the work of a master weaver. For they made connecting shoulder straps for it at both its ends, it was entirely connected. 5. And its decorative band, which is above it, emanated from it, of the same work, gold, blue, purple, and crimson wool, and twisted fine linen as the Lord had commanded Moses. 6. And they prepared the shoam stones, enclosed in gold settings, engraved, similar to the engravings of a seal, with the names of the sons of Israel. 7. And he put them upon the shoulder straps of the ephod, as stones of remembrance for the sons of Israel, as the Lord had commanded Moses. 8. He made the choshen, the work of a master weaver like the work of the ephod, of gold, blue, purple, and crimson wool, and twisted fine linen. 9. It was square, and they made the choshen doubled, its length 1 span and its width 1 span, doubled. 10. And they filled into it 4 rows of stones. 1 row, odom, pitta, and berkith, the 1 row. 11. And the second row, nophek, sapphire, and yahalom. 12. And the third row, leshem, shivo, and aklama. 13. And the fourth row, tarshish, shoam, and yashphe, enclosed in gold settings in their fillings. 14. And the stones were for the names of the sons of Israel, 12, corresponding to their names, similar to the engravings of a seal, every one according to his name, for the 12 tribes. 15. For the choshen they made chains at the edges, of cable work, of pure gold. 16. They made 2 golden settings and 2 golden rings, and they placed the 2 rings on the 2 ends of the choshen. 17. And they placed the 2 golden cables on the 2 rings, at the ends of the choshen. 18. And the 2 ends of the 2 cables they placed upon the 2 settings, and they placed them upon the shoulder straps of the ephod, on its front part. 19. And they made 2 golden rings and placed them on the 2 ends of the choshen, on its edge that faced the inner side of the ephod. 20. And they made 2 golden rings and placed them on the 2 shoulder straps of the ephod, from below, toward its front, adjacent to its seam, above the band of the ephod. 21 And they fastened the choshen by its rings to the rings of the ephod with a cord of blue wool, so that it could be upon the band of the ephod, so that the choshen would not move off the ephod, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Third portion. Exodus chapter 39. 22 And he made the robe of the ephod, the work of a weaver, completely of blue wool. 23 And the opening of the robe was turned inward like the opening of a coat of armor. Its opening had a border around it so that it should not be torn. 24 And they made on the bottom hem of the robe pomegranates of blue, purple, and crimson wool, twisted. 25 And they made bells of pure gold, and they placed the bells in the midst of the pomegranates all around on the bottom hem of the robe, in the midst of the pomegranates. 26 A bell and a pomegranate, a bell and a pomegranate, all around on the bottom hem of the robe, to serve as the Lord had commanded Moses. 27 And they made the linen tunics, the work of a weaver, for Aaron and for his sons. 28 And the cap of linen, and the glorious high hats of linen, and the linen pants of twisted fine linen. 29 And the sash of twisted fine linen, and blue, purple, and crimson wool, of embroidery work as the Lord had commanded Moses. 30 And they made the showplate, the holy crown, of pure gold, and they inscribed upon it an inscription like the engravings of a seal, holy to the Lord. 31 And they placed upon it a cord of blue wool to place over the cap, from above as the Lord had commanded Moses. 32 All the work of the Mishkan of the tent of meeting was completed. The children of Israel had done it, according to all that the Lord had commanded Moses, so they had done. Fourth portion. Exodus chapter 39. 33 Now they brought the Mishkan to Moses, the tent and all its furnishings, its clasps, its planks, its bars, its pillars and its sockets. 34 The covering of ram skins dyed red, the covering of tachash skins, and the screening dividing curtain. 35 The ark of the testimony, and its poles and the ark cover. 36 The table, all its implements and the showbread. 37 The pure menorah, its lamps, the lamps to be set in order and all its implements, and the oil for the lighting. 38 The golden altar, the anointing oil and the incense, and the screen of the entrance to the tent. 39 The copper altar and its copper grating, its poles and all its implements, the washstand and its base. 40 The hangings of the courtyard, its pillars and its sockets, and the screen for the gate of the courtyard, its ropes and its pegs, and all the implements for the service of the Mishkan, of the tent of meeting. 41 The meshwork garments for the service in the holy garments for Aaron the Cohen, Gadol, and his sons' garments for serving, as Kohanim. 42 Inches accordance with all that the Lord had commanded Moses, so did the children of Israel do all the work. 43 Moses saw the entire work, and lo, they had done it as the Lord had commanded, so had they done. So Moses blessed them. Fifth portion. Exodus chapter 40. 1 The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, 2 Inch on the day of the first month, on the first of the month, you shall set up the Mishkan of the tent of meeting. 3 There you shall place the ark of the testimony, and you shall spread the dividing curtain toward the ark. 4 You shall bring in the table and set its arrangement, you shall bring in the menorah and kindle its lamps. 5 You shall place the golden altar for incense before the ark of the testimony, and you shall place the screen of the entrance to the Mishkan. 6 You shall place the altar of the burnt offering in front of the entrance of the Mishkan of the tent of meeting. 7 You shall place the washstand between the tent of meeting and the altar, and there you shall put water. 8 And you shall set up the courtyard all around, and you shall put up the screen for the gate to the courtyard. 9 You shall take the anointing oil and anoint the Mishkan and everything within it, and you shall sanctify it and all its furnishings, thus it will become a holy thing. 10 You shall anoint the altar for the burnt offering and all its implements, you shall sanctify the altar, thus the altar will become a holy of holies. 11 You shall anoint the washstand and its base and sanctify it. 12 And you shall bring Aaron and his sons near the entrance of the tent of meeting, and you shall bathe them in water. 13 And you shall clothe Aaron with the holy garments, and you shall anoint him and sanctify him so that he may serve me, as a Cohen. 14 And you shall bring his sons near and clothe them with tunics. 15 And you shall anoint them, as you have anointed their father, so that they may serve me, as Kohanim. And this shall be so that their anointment shall remain for them in everlasting kahuna throughout their generations. 16 Thus Moses did, according to all that the Lord had commanded him, so he did. Sixth portion. Exodus chapter 40. 17 It came to pass in the first month, in the second year, on the first day of the month, that the Mishkan was set up. 18 Moses set up the Mishkan, placed its sockets, put up its planks, put in its bars, and set up its pillars. 19 He spread the tent over the Mishkan, and he placed the cover of the tent over it from above, as the Lord had commanded Moses. 20 He took and placed the testimony into the ark, put the poles upon the ark, and placed the ark cover on the ark from above. 21 He brought the ark into the Mishkan and placed the screening dividing curtain so that it formed a protective covering before the ark of the testimony as the Lord had commanded Moses. 22 He placed the table in the tent of meeting on the northern side of the Mishkan, outside the dividing curtain. 23 He set upon it an arrangement of bread before the Lord as the Lord had commanded Moses. 24 He placed the menorah in the tent of meeting, opposite the table, on the southern side of the Mishkan. 25 He kindled the lamps before the Lord as the Lord had commanded Moses. 26 He placed the golden altar in the tent of meeting in front of the dividing curtain. 27 He made the incense go up in smoke upon it as the Lord had commanded Moses. Seventh portion. Exodus chapter 40. 28 He placed the screen for the entrance of the Mishkan. 29 The altar of the burnt offering he placed in front of the entrance of the Mishkan of the tent of meeting, and he offered up the burnt offering and the meal offering upon it as the Lord had commanded Moses. 30 He placed the washstand between the tent of meeting and the altar, and there he put water for washing. 31 And Moses, Aaron, and his sons would wash their hands and their feet from it. 32 When they entered the tent of meeting and when they approached the altar they would wash as the Lord had commanded Moses. 33 He set up the courtyard all around the Mishkan and the altar, and he put up the screen at the entrance to the courtyard, and Moses completed the work. 34 And the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the Mishkan. 35 Moses could not enter the tent of meeting because the cloud rested upon it and the glory of the Lord filled the Mishkan. 36 When the cloud rose up from over the Mishkan, the children of Israel set out in all their journeys. 37 But if the cloud did not rise up, they did not set out until the day that it rose. 38 For the cloud of the Lord was upon the Mishkan by day, and there was fire within it at night, before the eyes of the entire house of Israel in all their journeys.